Now, when I first saw these knives, I said to myself, where and when would the scenario arise that 2-inch mini fixed blades would really make sense? Because there's one rule I think we can all agree on as knife lovers. The bigger the blade, the more capable the tool. Even for pocket knives, usually for me, the bigger the better. That is, until I really began to think about it and realized that there are definitely some scenarios where a micro fixed blade like this might actually start to make some sense. First and foremost is durability. Even though it has less of a cutting edge than this pocket knife, it's gonna be way more durable. And if you have very limited space, you're building out an EDC kit, survival kit, whatever the situation, not all fixed blades are going to fit in there. And that's where a micro fixed blade like this might start to make a lot of sense. And the durability for its size leads us to the next point, which is legality. Lots of places in this world have very tight knife restrictions, potentially on blade length. Also, some places don't even allow folders, but for some reason will allow fixed blades. And so if you want to carry a knife on you every day for your EDC, this might be one of your only options. And then there's the learning curve. It is much easier to manipulate and use a really compact tool like this than a much larger knife, making it ideal for younglings as they're learning bushcraft skills and self-reliance and doing those type of things. And then over time, allowing them to graduate into bigger tools. Well, in today's video, we're gonna find out what these Mini Odenwolf blades can do. I have tons of competitive options to run in as well, food for thought, to ultimately explore what the capabilities and limitations of a little knife like this are, and whether or not they're worth putting in rotation or not. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm Aaron. This is Gideonstactical. Let's dive in. Now, transporting a mini fixed blade is essential, and I was stunned by what these sheaths bring to the table. Now, you do have 2 holes up here along with a drainage hole that you could run a lanyard through. It does come with a lanyard, and wear it as a neck knife. It's fine. Got excellent tension for a neck knife, doesn't rattle. I mean, this is a very solid knife if you want to carry it that way. Has an excellently jimped thumb ramp right there that like launches the sheath, just like, boo! You just launch that thing. So very easy to deploy in that regard. This is the kicker that I was like, oh my gosh, exquisite. Comes with a pocket clip or belt clip. Metal, 2 screws, even has a little bit of a lip there, good tension. I mean, I've had pocket knives with pocket clips that have less tension on that. That makes it easy to slide onto your belt and carry it if you're right-handed on your strong side. If you're left-handed, you'd have to carry it kind of reverse, but you can do that. And you could also attach it into other pockets and the exterior of your pocket if you're right-handed. If you're left-handed, you can actually tuck it on the interior because sadly, it's not ambidextrous, so they missed it in one area because when I pocket carry, this would be perfect for pocket carry, like inside your pocket. And the handle's kind of heavy. When you carry it on the outside of your pocket, it does tend to kind of wobble around. It's more likely to fall out. It could go there, you know, and ride there, but if you screw it and swap it, it doesn't compute and doesn't line up properly. It is only set up for this size and this side of the sheath. If this was set up the other way, where it was on the exterior over here, you could do pocket carry or still run it on the inside of your belt or waistband and still work just fine. So I actually think that they should swap this to the other side and come up with an opposite attachment, and it would be mind-blowing. As it is, it's still phenomenal and much better than many of the competitive options in this price range that we're gonna run in a moment. You're getting quite a bit of sheath for the money, and since we are talking about that, I paid $20 a piece, so 40 bucks total for each of these knives. That's what they run for over on Amazon. I'll have a link in the description box below. I'll have it popping up here as well over to my Amazon store where you can go check out these knives as well as the competitive options at any time throughout the video. And I'll have a link over to the Odenwolf website as well, so that if you live out of the United States, you can potentially pick them up through that as well and have them shipped to your particular country. And this design is somewhat unique in that, yes, you have a Scandi version, but you can also get a saber grind version with like a harpoon swedge. The swedge is flat. The stock on both of these is going to be like 0.09, so very thin, very slicey, but depending on the grind you go with, will absolutely affect performance. And I'm going to get to that in just a moment, but I do want to invite you guys to like and subscribe. Make sure to hit the bell icon so you can be notified every week when I put up new videos just like this. Now, just like you guys, whether I am just doing a quick hike, I'm days deep into a multi-day backpacking trip or hunt, enjoying winter sports like snowshoeing and snowboarding, or potentially being in the path of a natural disaster, having the ability not only to communicate with loved ones, but first responders is essential. And that's why I'm so glad I have my Zoleo satellite communicator. And since it's powered by the Iridium satellite network, Zoleo offers truly global coverage. I've been able to communicate with my wife in some of the most rugged terrain North America has to offer. And since it can either be paired with my phone or be used as a standalone device with up to 200 hours of battery life, with the recent natural disasters related to hurricanes that have been hitting the eastern part of the United States, in emergencies like these, Zoleo's ability to send SOS alerts with precise GPS coordinates, along with the check-in feature, which can give GPS coordinates to friends and family, letting them know that you're okay. This device could be a lifesaver. And that's why I'm so thankful they're a regular sponsor here at the channel, because these are just a few of the features and capabilities that Zoleo brings to the table. So I'll have a link in the description box below over to the Zoleo website, as well as popping up here on the screen that you can click on. And I've also included my exclusive promo code, which will waive the $40 activation fee, just helping you guys save a little extra scratch. So I invite you guys to check them out and stay connected on all of your adventures. Now, which blade grind might make more sense for your particular environment and task? And I was really stoked to start out with the saber, because a lot of these type of knives are going to have like a Scandi grind. And so getting to work with the saber grind, really precise cutter. I mean, it feels kind of like a scalpel when you're using it, particularly the tip. You're able to really kick out cardboard, manipulate it, go through, man-made materials easy, go through your paracord, do that type of stuff. And even like pounding on it, I was really surprised. Like I don't know what type of kindling you're going to be splitting, but if you had to, or like, side splitting or something like that, that durability that we were talking about earlier really does shine in that. And the edge held up well. The piercing, I was able to do that. And the tool overall, I would say, even with like feather stick making, I was surprised. I could just like contact, boom, make a curly Q right away. And pretty easy to manipulate. Now, when I really started to have to bear down like on hemp rope, it really started to bog down. You could thin out the edge, but the edge is a little thick for certain tasks. Whereas the Scandi easily, just like hardly even any pressure, bam, pops off that hemp rope, goes through the material. And then especially like with wood carving, it took me 3 times as many passes to shape a piece of wood into a spear point than it did with the Scandi. The Scandi just like ate up the wood. It's kind of expected. Just blah, blah. I mean, hardly any effort, hardly any pressure, and it just, bites in, makes a notch, no problem. And because the whole spine is flat, whereas the harpoon, it's still flat on the top, but it's swedged, so it's just thinner. It's not as easy to manipulate if you're using like a thumb push cut, or something like that. The Scandi is definitely the way to go if you're wanting to use this mainly in the woods. So if you're looking at it more as like an EDC around town and camp with it every once in a while, saber is probably the way I would go. It obviously looks cooler. If you're looking for it as, yes, you can do utility around town, but really you want to use this a lot hiking and camping, well, then that's where obviously the Scandi is going to outperform the saber. Now, both will have 90-degree spines, throw sparks very easily. It actually felt like I was holding on to like the striker itself because of the manipulation. It's so easy to do that. It's just going to launch sparks. Now, as a quick data point, the lanyard that this comes with for a neck knife has a little scraper and a little fire steel. It's like 1.25 inches. That thing sucks. Doesn't throw sparks. I worked on it for like 20 minutes. Maybe you could get a cotton ball lit, but you are not going to be like getting dry tinder. I don't even really think it's worth putting in a survival kit as like a backup. Just get like a good solid striker. That would have been probably that would be the way to go. Now, the steel choice is really interesting as well. For $20, you're getting D2 steel. Now, Odenwolf is owned by a German family in Germany. That's where the designs come from. That's who like runs the company. From what I can tell, it's made in China. We have a Rockwell of 60 on the D2. So when I bought my first set of Oden knives, Odenwolf, the full-size W, in Scandi and full flat, I was blown away. I didn't know what to expect. I took the Scandi and whacked on that thing for like quite a while on a 2x4, expecting it just to mar up that edge. I mean, it didn't even blink. Perfect baton with it, no problems. Then I went to the Scandi, or excuse me, to the full flat, and I flexed that thing batoning like I was expecting. I have broken other knives having that much flex in it, where either they bend and they do not come back, or they snap. And I was expecting it to snap, since the D2 is kind of like a harder steel. It sprang right back into place. I was blown away. I was stunned by the capability of the D2. So it will outperform edge retention, and then a lot of other like cheap steels at 20 bucks that we'll look at here in a little bit for the competitive options, and really surpass my expectations in the steel choice, along with the two options now for the grind to help you better use the tool and get the most out of it. And leave a comment below. I'd love to know which grind makes more sense for you and your environment. Now to that handle, which is nice and full. It's a big handle for such a little blade. It's definitely like offsets it. And what I really was surprised with is that I, with my large size hands, can get full purchase. This is definitely a 4-fingered knife for me. And the span from knuckle to knuckle across my palm is 3¼ inches right there, just to give you some perspective. And I've got full grip, good and girthy. I think it's 0.7 or 0.8 on the maximum thickness there, and wraps around. We have really good shoulders to like pinch and pull. And then you have a little cut in right here that I was actually doesn't create my finger to float, and I feel more confident when I'm doing like a really hard push cut through material, or if I had it in a reverse grip and I was stabbing, it gave me more grip and more trust than a general Puko design like the ELDRIS. So that I liked as well. The only area where I was kind of like, is that the diamond pattern is very grippy. I mean, it's a very grippy design, but sometimes it kind of, you can just feel it. If you're really bearing down, like going through that hemp rope or something, it kind of leaves some marks there. The rest of the time, when you're just like carving and cutting, you don't even notice it. But maybe just dialing down, like cutting that texture in half would have been ideal, because it's so rubbery and grippy. Other than that, you do have a lanyard hole. It is full tang. Ran my magnet over it, and I was able to get it connect all the way down the back there. But it's only 3½ ounces with the sheath. So, I mean, it's really impressive for the overall carry. And then the ergonomics, and you can choose black, you can choose green. I think that's the only colors right now. I think it would be great for them to come out with like a high-vis, rubber polymer as well. I think it's maybe polypropylene. But yeah, great for bushcraft, but still gives me enough lockup to actually do like hard utility tasks, which is refreshing. Now, what about some competitive options? Obviously, kind of the forebearer, that MORA ELDRIS, and you can get a couple different variants. I got the light duty one for my boys right there. No cut in, so I actually feel a little more confident in my grip on the Odenwolf, but you are going to get a true Scandi on this one, and then you get like a combo blade if you go with the full size. I think the full size has a 90. This light duty one that I have does not have a 90-degree spine on it. Like $20 to $25, made in Sweden, so that is nice. Made out of, I believe, 12C27 Sandvik steel, which is very tough, very rust resistant, more rust resistant than the D2, but will not hold its edge anywhere near the length that the Odenwolfs and D2 will. You will have to be resharpening this blade quite frequently. It's very easy to resharpen, but you're gonna have to do that quite a bit. Along with the sheath, which you can only have as a neck knife. So if you don't want to carry it that way, you're kind of out of luck, or you have to spend at least like 20 to 30 bucks on an aftermarket like Kydex sheath to try and carry it on your belt. And then I have here the MINIMALIST from CRKT. Got this for my boys. This one is even lighter, even smaller, hollow grind, lots of blade shapes between like $25 and $35 usually, 8CR13 MOV. About 2 inches, so you're getting like same blade length, and it's definitely like a 3-fingered knife like that, but you are absolutely locked in. That's probably why I got it, is because like the safety factor of just like total confidence, bam, you are locked in there to be able to do that utility work because of the hollow grind on this one. And I don't know if they're all hollow, but will actually outperform that saber slightly. and does come with a polymer sheath, lanyard, and a little belt clip as well. So that's probably the closest like competitive option, I think, for all the features that the Odenwolf has that the CRKT Minimalist does bring to the table. They have so many options. Leave a comment if you own the Minimalist and what blade shape you have. In my world, like mini survival kits. That's for my world where it makes a lot of sense. But is this going to become like, oh, now these are like my new EDCs that I'm going to use all the time? No, I mean, obviously when I can, I'm going to go with like a larger, you know, compact fixed blade, or I'm going to go with, you know, a regular size pocket knife because I can. But it's cool to have in rotation, and when I'm building out those compact kits, if I want the durability of a fixed blade, but I have very limited size, that's where that fits in this scenario for me. But leave a comment below and let me know where these blades might fit for you, where you see value in them, either as general utility, just because you prefer fixed blades over pocket knives, or you live in an environment that you have a lot of restrictions and these fall into a category that you can carry and still have an edge tool on you. Appreciate you guys hanging with me today. It's been a ton of fun. I love it. I love hanging out with you guys. Check out the other video popping up. Subscribe if you haven't. And until next time, always remember to stay equipped, stay prepared, and I'll see you out there.